Okay guys, this is the video to install the Rough Country fog light kit for the Nissan Frontier. This is what I've done so far. Took the wheel off, popped the little headlight blank off, or fog light blank I should say. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up real quick. And then I got a zip tied this fender liner back. It's 3 screws, 1 up here, 2 in the bottom. Thing bends back. It should bend back once we get it put back together. And then as you can see, that's where the headlight's going to sit, and the bracket that's included requires you to drill a couple of holes right here. So it takes a little bit of finesse. This is not for the person that's afraid of drills and making holes in their truck. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the next stage, and I will show you guys step by step what to do. Alright y'all, so after you follow the first page of instructions, you get the fender liner loose so you can bend it out of the way. Like I said in the last video, I just got a zip tie and got it so we don't have to worry about fighting that thing. You take the 2 screws off the front fog lamp here, and then we're going to install this cover plate. These are the screws that are supplied, so these are the ones you take off, and these are the ones you're going to put back on it. So you're going to do that on both lights. Okay guys, this is the passenger side put on. You got a 9/16 screw here that attaches to the bracket that attaches to the fog light. Kind of hard to see, but you see the bracket right here. And then you got a couple of 1/2-inch bolts that you had to drill for. Basically, you just put this thing where you need to do, put a piece of tape here, use a Sharpie, mark the 2 holes, take everything off, drill them, and then you just bolt it in. And then once you got these semi-tight, you move it where it needs to be. This you can move and tilt, then you tighten this guy, then snug everything up, and as you can see, it's solid, not gonna go nowhere. Alright, here's how we tidied up the wiring down here in the bottom. It's fairly simple and easy. Just a zip tie and bundle the wires up. Make sure you don't have any, don't pull it tight. Let the wire kind of breathe, so to speak. So I think this should work just fine, and of course the power wire is going to just head on up. Okay guys, so this is what you do to drill these holes. You put your light up where it needs to be. Line the bracket up here, mark it with a Sharpie, and then you drill your holes. Now this does take a little bit of patience. It's really tight right here to get that hole in, so my advice is use a smaller drill bit to kind of make a pilot, which is what I've done here. And you're going to go, the papers say 11/16, so I didn't actually have one of those. I have a 1/4 inch here, which is close enough. It requires a little bit of wall iron out, but I mean, you can do that yourself, you know what I'm saying? So go ahead and get this drilled, and then we'll be ready to bolt it on. Okay, so after you get this guy bolted up and somewhat in place, just get you a 1/2 inch or 13mm backup wrench for these guys, and then a 1/2 inch socket wrench for these guys. That's a little tight, so we might have to just do a 2 wrenches, but this bottom one can do it with a ratchet, no problem. So let's get these things tight, and then you'll be able to pivot and move the light if you need to, here and here, and then get that thing centered up. Okay, got everything bolted in. It's good and centered, at least I think. Maybe it needs to be spun a hair if you can. Be all right. So next step is to plug the light in. Here's a power wire for the light. Just drop it down somewhere. Okay. Connect it to the fog light. Zip tie it all nice and neat. Obviously don't run this wire anywhere that can get caught in any fans or belts. Make sure everything is good and secure and out of the way and hidden, which is the best way. And then we'll just plug those up and test this light out, and then we'll be ready to roll. So after you get your wiring addressed, just put your liner back in place. That goes in between I believe. So it's hard to do one-handed, but yeah, there it goes, just like that. And then the 4 screws. I know this thing won't, the lighting here is rough, but you get your 4 screws, that guy, and then 3 on the bottom, and then you're done. All that's left is wiring. Okay guys, so the fog lights are in. Now what's next is the wiring. So this is what I've done. This wire comes up. What I did was I just ran it in between here, across, down to this bundle. I ran it towards the front because I didn't want anything getting in contact with the fan down there. And what I did with the relay, there's a little, for the ground wire, there's a little clip. I literally just incorporated it with that. That clips in and that'll hold the relay just like that. Okay. I was going to drill it and attach it right here. I don't really think we need to. There's plenty of wire here for the fuse and everything, so leave that disconnected till the end. For the switch, I'm going to run it, well, obviously it'll be kind of tucked in there, zip tied throughout. Zip tied to this to hide it all the way down. There's plenty of slack, by the way. And then it's going to go in there, which you pull it through with the from the floorboard of the driver's side. Okay. Now I did think about this switch here. I'm not really a big fan of it. It's, I don't know, dumb. So cool thing is you can just unplug this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it right here. It's 3 wires. You should have a constant power for your light, ground, and 24 or 12 volts, I should say. I'm used to regular stuff. So I went ahead and bought one of these guys. Sasquatch lights, what I'm going to call them. You got your ground, constant 24, and on and off with the switch. So in case you guys are curious on how I did the wire through the rubber gasket here, I literally just pushed it from the inside and it comes right out, and then you just run the wire in there and you pull it or push it closed. I don't really think water is going to get in that. If you're really worried about it, you can put some silicone there, but I ain't worried about it. So now we got enough wire inside the cab to run the light easily to where we need to go. So now we can go ahead and get done with zip tying this guy up in here, so we don't have any wires going around all ugly. And then we got to figure out how to wire that switch. Okay, so we're going to wire this switch into this blank spot here. In order to do that, I'm going to take this bottom panel off. There's 2 screws you got to take off. There's one right there, and then there's one right there that's behind all this trim. So this pops up, lightly bend this out of the way, and you take that screw off and the whole thing should drop down. So just be gentle with it. Pop it loose. You got all these little clips holding it on after you get that. Now we need to get that switch out of there. I went ahead and just disconnected the wires. So in order to get that blank out, just get you something, pry this up and then push it out. Once you get that, do the bottom, you do the top, and it goes towards the inside. Just like that. Okay, yeah, it does just slip right in. The switch itself has its own little kind of wings that hold it in, so it won't clip in like the factory one does. That's okay. It should stay in well enough as long as you don't go yanking on it. Okay, so now we just need to cut this end off and figure out what wires go to what connections. Real quick, I just wanted to show you guys how I wired in the power wires. Positive, we just did that. Negative, I just connected down there. Just make sure you put it in between the existing bolt and the wire. That way you have a good connection. You don't want to do paint on paint. Or you don't want to connect it to paint, I should say. Relay's just chilling right there. Fuse, just got it tucked like that. So overall, pretty clean. Wire again goes in right there and connects to the fuse underneath the dash. Okay guys, so took me a little bit to research what we need to do for this switch. As you can see, it's in the off position right now. The blue, white, and black kind of threw me through a loop, so I had to figure out what goes where. The blue is going to go in the bottom left, white is going to go in the middle, and you're going to need to make a jumper between the top two, which is your ground. When you do it this way, flip everything on, your light turns on, tells you that it's on. If you wanted to actually wire the switch in to where the light would turn on with, let's say, your headlights or your dash lights, you would need to provide a power to this one. But since we're not going to bother with that, I don't want to splice into nothing. That's all you got to do. So as you can see, both lights are now on and working, and that's with the truck off, so it's, you know, it'll be much better when the truck's actually running and stuff. Voltage will be higher. But that's it, guys. So that's our install. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Let me show you this one more time. Blue in the bottom, white in the middle, jumper black on the very top two. Obviously, we need to put all this back together. Connect your battery terminals very last. Right now I just have them barely touching so that I know that they're working. Just secure them as tight as possible, and that should be it for you guys. Don't forget to just put your dash back together. Obviously you're not going to forget that. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and thank you for watching our video. Please like and subscribe. As always, I do take prayer requests, so please do not forget to make a comment below if you guys have anything that you need, at whatever it is. Please let me know. And you guys have an awesome day.